which is a free tool to help you record podcasts for use with your students. Why should we be considering podcasts? Well, when we are moving to online learning, variety will really help to keep students engaged, and it's also something that means they don't have to be looking at their screen, so it gives them a good break from being sat perhaps just in front of their laptop. So how do we create a podcast? You'd log into Anchor. As I mentioned, it's all free, so you just sign up in the normal way. And then once I'm in, I'm just going to click New Episode. This is a really intuitive piece of software, so you're not going to need lots of tutorials to get started. All you're going to have is your idea really well firmed, something that you're ready to talk about. So once I'm ready to talk, I'm going to start recording. Recording in a podcast is actually a good way to step yourself into online teaching because you're recording your audio in short chunks. If you try to record big streams of consciousness from the outset, then you might struggle, you might stumble, and you might require lots of editing. So this is going to help us to record in those small snippets. So I'm going to click record here, and I can record from my laptop if I've got a microphone attached to it, but it also works really well with your phone or a tablet, so you can really just use whatever you feel most comfortable with. I'm going to click start recording, and essentially that's all it's going to do. It's going to record the snippets of my voice, and once I'm done, I can just click stop. Now when that's been recorded, it will just take a few moments to process. There we go. And in full Blue Peter style, I actually have some snippets that I've already got here from recording one of our fellowship podcasts. Once I've got all of those snippets in place, it's as simple as grabbing them and dragging and dropping into my podcast. Once I've done that, I can move them around if I want to. If I'm feeling quite fancy, I can add transitions, so I can add lots of little jingles or music, but there really isn't any necessity for those. And once I've done it, I'm going to start the saving process. So I'm going to give my podcast a name and give my students some details in the bottom. It's actually really good practice here to include a follow-up task. So you might want to get your students to do something like recording a snippet of audio themselves and sending it back to you. You could then literally drag and drop it into Anchor yourself and create a response podcast to see what your students thought about the initial ideas that you've presented. When I click publish, it's going to give me some final options. I'm just choosing my language and I'm going to click continue. And then there we go. There is my podcast all done and dusted.
Excellent. No, I didn't get a chance to ask you.